Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Chris. It's your boy Chris. It's another lovely episode of Financipation, and this channel is all about making money, saving money, and building generational wealth, as well as financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty. And for this particular episode, this is what I like to call part of what I like to call my college series. The title of this one is going to be "I've graduated from college. Now what?" In an earlier video, I talked about the discrepancy of people who graduate from college with a bachelor's or master's degree and don't actually have a job waiting for them or a job in their career when they graduate. Some studies have that number as low as 36%. So imagine you went to college for 4 years, you got an extremely hard major, you got an extremely hard degree, and you basically graduate and you don't have a job waiting for you. Roughly 64% of Americans have that nightmare waiting for them, and only 36% of Americans actually have a job waiting for them when they graduate from college. And that's kind of what I want to talk about for this particular one. I've graduated from college, now what? Ideally, everyone, if you go to school and you get a degree, you want to have a job waiting. You want to have multiple jobs waiting for you when you graduate. You want to have basically the point where you say, okay, employer, when you interview with employer B, you want to be able to say, okay, I interviewed with employer B. Employer A is offering this amount of money. Will you guys match that or pay me more? That's essentially what you want to have when you graduate. When I graduated from undergrad, I had about 5 or 6 different companies coming at me. And I literally, at the end of every interview, when they would offer me a job, I would tell them, okay, this is a great company. I love the culture here, but I've already gotten a job offer from such and such. And as a result, this is what they're paying me. Would you guys be interested in paying me more? And then when I would show them the actual offer letter, sometimes they would match it, sometimes they wouldn't. That's the best situation you want to be in. Ideally, guys, when you graduate, you want to have multiple jobs waiting for you when you graduate. I always tell people as well, have a plan as far as what degree you want to have and have a plan about what kind of lifestyle you want to have when you graduate. So for instance, I'm a mechanical engineer. I tell anybody who wants to go to college that you should probably think about getting a degree in science, in technology, in engineering, in some type of mathematics, in finance, in law, or in healthcare, as far as being a nurse or a medical practitioner or a medical professional. The reason why I say that is because people who have a job in science, technology, engineering, math, law, finance, and healthcare, the unemployment rate pretty much right now for us is about 1%. To be exact, when I actually graduated, we were going through one of the worst economic meltdowns in the last 100 years. And I had multiple jobs waiting for them. But my friends who got degrees in communications, who got degrees basically in art, who got degrees, unfortunately, in some of the more soft art type of career paths and everything, they didn't have jobs waiting for them. And some of them still to this day don't actually have jobs. So what I always tell people is this: depending on what kind of degree you want to get, figure out what's the end goal. What is it going to look like? What are my employment options going to look like when I graduate? Because once again, people who have degrees in science, technology, engineering, math, law, finance, or healthcare, our unemployment rate nationally right now is 1%. We have job offers. We get job offers literally every other day. Not saying that everybody's not signed, everyone is not STEM inclined. Some people want career paths in other fields. But once again, have an idea about, okay, if I go into this major, how am I going to graduate? What am I going to basically what kind of lifestyle am I going to be able to live? How much money am I going to make? Am I comfortable with that kind of lifestyle? Basically, have an idea of what you want to study, and more importantly, how that skill set is going to be employable for you when you graduate. Every summer, people, you should be trying to get a co-op or internship or some kind of paid position, pretty much, when you're doing the summertime. So if you're in school for 4 years, between your freshman and sophomore year, that's obviously one summer. You should be trying to get an internship or a co-op. Between your sophomore and your junior year, it's obviously a summer. You should be trying to get a co-op or an internship. Between your junior year and your senior year in college, you should be trying to get a co-op or an internship. And a co-op or an internship is essentially a paid job where a Fortune 500 company or a local company or whoever is essentially paying you pretty much to come there and to work for them. It's almost like hiring an employer. It's almost like hiring a company, hiring an employee for 3 months to essentially do real work for them. If you want to be an accountant, try to get an internship in an accounting firm. If you want to be an engineer, try to get an engineering internship or a co-op in an engineering firm. If you want to basically work in construction management, try to get some kind of job in try to get a job for a general contractor during the summertime. If you want to be a nurse, try to basically be a nursing assistant or get some kind of nursing experience at a local hospital, local podiatrist, etc. Essentially, you want to make sure that before you graduate, pretty much, you have work experience. So that way, when you graduate, you have a job waiting for you, something close to it. Next, I'll tell you is this. As soon as you get to college, yes, your freshman year, you should basically essentially throw on a shirt and tie, throw on a suit, and start going into all the career fairs you can go into. Yes, I know this looks very ridiculous to see a 17 or 18-year-old pretty much walking into a career fair where people are actually trying to hire people who are going to be lawyers, people who are basically going to be graduating with a 4-year degree semester later. But when these companies see you, say, wait a minute, this young lady, this guy is only 17 or 18 years old. They're already basically polished. They're already trying to hand me a resume. They're already trying to get a co-op or an internship so I can hire them. They're going to remember your face. And 3 to 4 years later, there's a very good possibility if you keep your GPA high, they're gonna say, you know what, this person basically has been there for 2 or 3 years and I keep seeing them and they get sharper and sharper. I'm gonna make sure we offer them a job. Or better yet, they may say, you know what, we can't actually offer you a full-time position because we need somebody that actually has a bachelor's degree in nursing or a bachelor's degree in accounting or a bachelor's degree in finance, but we do have an internship available for you. And because we see you at these career fairs, we're gonna basically try to offer you, we're basically gonna make sure that we hire you and give you that internship. So I tell everybody is your freshman year, you should start basically throwing a suit, throwing a shirt and tie pretty much, print out a resume and say, my name is such and such. This is my skill set, this is my major. I'm looking for an internship or a co-op, which ultimately turns into a full-time job opportunity down the line. I'm telling you, it works. I did that my freshman year. I got co-ops, I got internships, and ultimately I had a full-time job waiting for me before I graduated my senior year in college. Next, join your prospective majors professional organizations as soon as you can in college. I'm an engineer. I joined the National Society of Black Engineers my freshman year. So as a result, I was literally networking and talking with college seniors, college juniors, and Fortune 500 engineering firms the first month I was in college. If you're a nurse, you should join the, for instance, nursing. They have the National Student and Nursing Association. If you're in construction management, you have the American General Contractor, AGC. Generally speaking, every major in college has some kind of professional organization that pretty much markets itself so they can find aspiring young professionals who are going to fit the description of what they're looking for. And my advice is join these professional organizations as soon as humanly possible, because it is a great way essentially to kind of start meeting the type of people who you want to meet, who are going to offer you the internships, who are going to offer you the jobs. Next, I want you to take a long, hard look as far as determining whether graduate school is actually necessary. So when I was in undergrad, I met a lot of guys who pretty much partied every summer. They was trying to basically run on a bunch of women and stuff like that. They didn't really they took the scholastic aspect of college seriously, but they didn't take the summers or whatever seriously. So they didn't get the internships, they didn't get the co-ops, they didn't get the job opportunities that they should have gotten. And as a result, when their senior year was coming, last semester of their senior year was coming, they were like, oh shoot, I'm about to graduate from college with a degree and I have no idea what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. So what these people ended up doing was that unfortunately, they talked to their guidance counselor, they talked to their mentors or whatever, and their mentor basically told them, don't worry about it, just get a master's degree. So this person essentially will get a master's degree, go into $100,000 more of debt, keep partying, keep running as many women as possible. And then when they graduate, instead of graduate with $100,000 worth of debt and a useless college degree, they graduate with $200,000 worth of debt and a useless college degree. And now they're struggling because they're basically trying to do MLMs, Primerica. They're trying to basically do all kind of different companies or whatever to try to make ends meet. But they basically got a graduate degree in a college major that does not have a job waiting for them. And they got an undergraduate degree that some people will call useless. And as a result, they're running around saying college isn't worth it. No, college is very worth it. You just didn't have a plan pretty much when you graduated. So what I always tell people is that if graduate school is necessary, if you're studying pre-law, pre-med, those type of majors, graduate school is definitely necessary. If you're studying some kind of like, say, biology or whatever, you can basically walk into any high school once you graduate and teach biology. You can walk in any laboratory and basically start work in a lab. If you're doing teaching or whatever, you can walk in any high school, in some cases, even a community college in America and teach. So have an idea, is grad school necessary? Because a lot of times grad school is not necessary pretty much, and you can actually have a job waiting for you. And in some cases, actually, in most cases, actually, the best way to pay for grad school is to find a company, we interview and say straight up, I want to get my master's degree. I'm thinking about getting my PhD. Does your company have any kind of reimbursement for a master's degree? And a lot of companies, particularly in the federal government, if you basically get a B or better, they will actually pay for you to get a master's degree. So if you basically plan your collegiate experience correctly, you can go to undergrad for free, work for the federal government, or work for a Fortune 500 company. They can pay a significantly large percentage of your master's degree, in some cases 100% of it, and you can actually work, get a master's degree, and literally not have a single penny worth of debt. And it's not actually as difficult as you think. The NSA, the CIA, the DEA, lots of Fortune 500 companies, Pratt & Whitney, all these companies essentially have some kind of graduate reimbursement procedures for people who want to get master's degrees. So once again, if you're thinking about going the master's degree route, you can actually do it for free, assuming you basically plan for it accordingly. Next thing, always remember this, people. If you graduate, you say, what's next? Remember this, money always follows knowledge. What do I mean by that? If you have 3 companies trying to hire you, One company is offering you a lot of money, but you're talking to them, they have no mentoring. They make it very clear they don't train young people, and they make it very clear they have an extremely high attrition rate, and that when they hire young people, you normally fire them very quickly. I don't care how much money they offer you. My advice is don't go there. If there's another company that says, yes, we're not going to pay you a lot of money, but we are the best mentoring program in the country, pretty much as far as what our industry says. And if you work for us, we will teach you how to be a good accountant. We will teach you how to be a good nurse. We will teach you how to be a good engineer. But we're not going to pay you as much as such and such. In my opinion, if you have both options, I personally would say go to the company that's going to teach you a lot. Because at the end of the day, knowledge, at the end of the day, money follows knowledge. So if you get mentored properly and you basically learn your craft and learn your trade, when it is time for you pretty much for whatever reason to go your separate ways from your current employer, you're going to be able to command insanely high salaries because you were properly taught. But you do not want to work for a company basically that's not going to teach you. It's going to basically have you getting them coffee and donuts. And there are companies that are out there that are like that. They're going to essentially have you getting the professional version of getting coffee and donuts. And then 5 years later, when it's time for you to leave because you're sick and tired of being disrespected or you're bored, when you go out into the real world and you start interviewing with other companies and say, well, we would like to hire you, but no offense, you didn't learn anything at your last company. So my advice is don't necessarily go to the companies that pay you the most. Go to the companies that are going to teach you the most. And if you do that, essentially the money is going to eventually catch up with you. I promise you when I say that. Also, I tell everybody, and this is kind of more of a personal thing, but it's kind of generally up to you. I tell anybody, start your career in a large metropolitan city. And I'm not saying this because I'm trying to bash people who come from small cities or people who come from, I would say, rural communities. I'm saying that for this reason. If you start your career in an extremely large metropolitan city, you have better career options. What I mean by that is that there are, typically speaking, a lot more companies for you to choose to work from. That's firstly. Secondly, if you're not married, it's also way better dating options. Why? Because you're in a larger pool of people that you can pull from as far as who you want to ultimately marry, who you want to ultimately call your wife. Additionally, better experience. When you're in an environment where everyone looks like you, everyone thinks like you, and everyone basically votes like you, and they basically have the same mindset that you do, that may not necessarily be the best thing as far as building yourself professionally, building yourself personally, and then also as far as building your entrepreneurial ventures that you want to build on the side. But if you live in a larger major metropolitan city, the Washington, D.C.s, the Los Angeles, the Kansas Cities, the Detroits, the Chicagos, the New York Cities, the Miamis or whatever, if you're in cities like that, you are literally going to be around so many different types of people, so many different cultures of people that you're going to basically know, okay, how to operate and how to deal with the Arab community, how to deal with the Cuban community, how to deal with the Mexican American community, how to deal with the Black community, how to deal with the Haitian community, how to deal with the Central American community. You're going to deal with so many different types of people, so many different diverse skill sets as far as cultures and stuff like that. When it's time for you to go out and do your own thing, you're going to pretty much know how to interact with everybody. So I always tell people, if it's possible, start your career in major metropolitan cities. And another thing that it does is that once it's time for you to essentially leave and go somewhere else, people say, okay, this individual has work experience in Chicago. This individual has work experience in Washington, D.C. This individual has work experience in San Diego. I know for a fact they know how to deal with very aggressive, very rude, very nasty, mean people. And as a result, I can put them in any environment and they're probably going to succeed. So those are some of the things that I would say. You graduated from college, and now what? And in this particular video, I just kind of wanted to tell you, first and foremost, people, have a plan before you graduate from college. Plan accordingly so that when it is time to leave, pretty much, you already have a skill set. You already pretty much know exactly how you want to do it. And lastly, everyone, like I said, here at Financial Patience, this channel is all about making money. It's all about saving money. It's all about building generational wealth and essentially financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty. So please like, please comment, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.